Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever felt like your career path was less of a straight line and more of a maze? Maybe with some delightful, unexpected turns. Today, we're diving deep into a truly fascinating personal story. It really illustrates the power of adaptability. We're going to trace the journey of an individual, let's call her Chelsea, and her remarkable transitions. I mean, from initial dreams of architecture all the way to digital healthcare strategy consulting. Quite a shift.
It really is. And what's particularly insightful about our source material today is that we're working with a highly personal interview. This gives us a unique window into the why behind her decisions at different life stages, not just, the what she did. Our mission, really, in this deep dive is to extract the wisdom from her choices, to understand how her path offers insights for, well, for anyone navigating their own professional journey.
Absolutely. So, for you listening, our goal is to uncover some key insights here. Things like resilience, how to spot and grab opportunities, and ultimately how you can build a fulfilling career even when those carefully laid plans inevitably change. Let's begin right at the start. Back in high school in Beijing, Chelsea had this really clear, ambitious vision, didn't she?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Studying architecture at a top 3 university in Canada. That was the goal.
You can just imagine the focus needed for that, especially so young.
Exactly. But here's where, external circumstances really step in and reshape things. Just as she was prepping for this big international move, there was a combination of family changes and, crucially, the SARS epidemic back in 2003.
Wow, SARS. Right.
Yeah, and that forced a really dramatic shift. Suddenly, those overseas plans were completely off the table. She found herself having to pivot back into the highly competitive Gaokao system in China for university admission.
A system she hadn't really been preparing for, I guess, if she was focused on Canada?
Precisely. It was a huge, unexpected hurdle, a
Right.
real plot twist early on.
That's a massive curveball. I mean, how did she even react to that? Such a sudden change.
Well, her reaction is incredibly telling, actually. It really speaks to her core mindset. She summed it up perfectly, saying something like, even if it wasn't the university or major she'd expected, this card is in your hand. You just have to play it well.
Hmm. Play the card well. I like that.
It's that proactive framing, isn't it? Seeing a setback not as a dead end, but as a hand you have to play.
Yeah.
That really defined her adaptive approach right from the start.
That's some serious resilience. So, okay, architecture's out. What was the next move then?
Well, despite her interest in art and architecture, she made a very pragmatic decision. She shifted focus completely. For stability, for job prospects, she decided to major in accounting at university.
Accounting. That's quite a leap from architecture.
It is, and it powerfully shows how sometimes necessity, rather than pure passion, dictates those initial career paths, right? But what's interesting is how this practical foundation, far from being just a detour, actually became a strategic asset for her later on.
Okay, so that leads us to university life. She's in a second-tier city studying accounting. How did that experience shape up for her?
She describes it as quite rich, actually. Engaged in student life, traveled a bit. But interestingly, even though she was doing accounting, she openly admitted she wasn't that interested in the subject itself. Didn't study it too hard, apparently.
Uh-huh. So where was her energy going?
Well, what really stands out is that she found herself much more engaged and, frankly, better at other courses, particularly marketing.
Oh, okay. Marketing.
No?
Even while doing an accounting degree.
Exactly. That subtle interest, that knack for marketing while she was technically on an accounting track, it really hints at a future pivot, doesn't it? A quiet signal she was picking up on, maybe subconsciously.
And that quiet signal got louder pretty quickly, it seems, because
Yeah.
after graduation, she jumped right into a very sought-after role, didn't she? Big Four auditor.
That's right, a classic path for an accounting grad.
But it only lasted 1 year. Why so short?
Yeah, just 1 year. She was very clear about why she left. She looked at the long-term path, becoming a partner, and realized, nope, that wasn't her goal.
Okay, not the career trajectory she wanted.
And also, the work itself just didn't click with her personality. She described herself, I think you mentioned it, as someone who likes to play around.
Right, contrasting with quieter accounting peers.
Exactly. It raises that important question about personal fit versus, industry prestige or the expected path. And leaving after just 1 year, that shows real decisiveness, recognizing a mismatch early and acting on it.
It's often harder to leave early, isn't it? People feel they should stick it out.
It can be. But her story suggests there's real strategic value in that early course correction. It minimizes time spent in a role that just isn't right.
So she recognized the mismatch, acted decisively. What was the intentional next step? She knew auditing wasn't it.
This is where things get really interesting, where those different threads start to come together. Her art background, the practical accounting skills, that flicker of interest in marketing, she decided to go to graduate school for marketing.
And what sparked that specific choice?
Apparently, it was as simple as reading a magazine article about the advertising industry. Something just clicked,
Wow. Sometimes it's just that simple connection.
and she saw this powerful synergy brewing, her art background, that connects to the creative side of advertising, her accounting background, that sensitivity to numbers, to data, invaluable for market research, for analysis.
That's a brilliant synthesis, not seeing them as separate paths, but combining them.
Exactly. It was a really strategic move, pulling together these seemingly disparate experiences into a whole new direction.
Okay, so she gets the marketing degree. What did her career look like after that? Was it a straight line then?
Huh, not quite. It was pretty dynamic, actually. She moved between agency roles and client-side positions, and then back again sometimes.
So, quite flexible, moving between different types of organizations.
Yeah, it shows she was comfortable exploring, adapting to different cultures and demands. It wasn't just random hopping. It feels like she was actively seeking the right challenges, the right learning experiences.
And all this leads her to where she is now, digital healthcare strategy consulting. How does the marketing piece fit in there?
Well, she says marketing itself is actually only a small part of her current job now, maybe 10, 20%. But it was absolutely the crucial bridge. That marketing background got her into roles where she developed expertise in healthcare, advising pharmaceutical companies, advising startups on complex digital strategies, market expansion, really specialized stuff.
It sounds incredibly demanding. The outline mentioned, what, 60 plus hours a week on average?
Yeah, very challenging hours.
No.
But she describes it as deeply satisfying.
How does she balance that? The demanding job and finding satisfaction?
It seems to come down to two things. Continuous learning, she's always absorbing new information, which she loves, and purpose. She finds real meaning in knowing her work ultimately helps patients get better treatment. That sense of contribution seems key.
And outside of work.
She describes a good life in what she calls big rural America. Family, house, a big dog, and a new baby keeping her busy. So it's a full life, but one where the work, despite the hours, feels meaningful.
Okay, so looking back at this whole winding journey, architecture dreams, SARS disruption, accounting, Big Four exit, marketing pivot, now complex healthcare strategy. What are her big takeaways when she reflects on it all?
Her main reflection is really powerful. No regrets.
No regrets at all, after all those changes.
Apparently not. She feels her choices were, and this is her phrase, relatively reasonable given the circumstances she faced at each decision point.
Relatively reasonable. That suggests an acceptance of reality, doesn't it? Making the best call possible with the information and options available then.
Exactly. It's that play the card in your hand well
Oh.
idea again, isn't it? There's usually a consistent thread throughout her story.
It really does.
And that decision to leave auditing after just 1 year. She sees that now as a really efficient move. Delaying a pivot when you know something's wrong, she implies, isn't just wasted time. It can actually cost you more in terms of fulfillment and maybe even developing the right skills. Her story really champions that early, decisive course correction if needed.
What also strikes me is her persistence. She had that initial dream of studying abroad, had to give it up.
But she didn't give it up forever. She eventually circled back to it later when the time was right, pursuing graduate studies abroad. That shows real tenacity.
Definitely.
And she also touches on the experience, as a foreigner working in the U.S. The need to work hard, be strategic, really leverage your unique background to find that right professional fit. Her story kind of culminates in finding a company in a field she genuinely loves, which feels like the ultimate payoff for all that navigation.
It really makes you think, how do we define success when it's not that simple linear climb? Her path looks like a series of deliberate, sometimes necessary navigations and reinventions.
Absolutely. It challenges the traditional view.
So if she could send a message back to her younger self, maybe during that really tough high school period with the Gaokao looming, what would she say?
Her advice is simple, but quite profound, I think. It's try your best and everything will be okay.
An embrace of uncertainty, maybe, coupled with a commitment to just giving it your all.
Exactly that. And she also emphasizes that even those really significant setbacks, like the family changes, the sudden shift in college plans, they're ultimately just a small interlude in life.
A small interlude, if you seize the opportunities that come out of them.
Precisely. It's about how you respond, how you keep moving forward, rather than getting stuck dwelling on what might have been.
Wow. What an incredible journey we've just explored. Chelsea's story is just packed with lessons on adaptability. From those huge unforeseen hurdles in high school through multiple intentional career changes to finally landing in this really meaningful, challenging role in digital healthcare.
It's it's truly remarkable. And her core advice, try your best and everything will be okay.
Mm,
That really resonates, doesn't it? As a sort of guiding principle for navigating all the unpredictable turns life throws at us.
mm.
It's a real testament to resilience and optimism, too, even when things look tough.
So, thinking about Chelsea's story, maybe ask yourself, what does it mean for you to play the card in your hand well? Especially when it's definitely not the card you thought you'd get or even wanted. And maybe consider this. How might embracing your own small interludes, those unexpected detours or setbacks, actually lead you down a path that's even more fulfilling than the one you originally imagined?